Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Environmental Coffee House. I'm Sandy Shellis. It's really good to see you guys here. I was just watching a show, actually, a different political kind of show. And hello, Alistair. Hello, Christine. Hello, Christopher and Jonquil and Dolores and Old Sage Joe and Lightning Rod and Max, Suzanne and Kate, Chemistry Kate and Human. Thank you for coming. I got a good show. I got a busy show. I was just watching another show. Above it all, and the guest was his name was Matt, and he was from Boulder, and he was explaining what was going on in Boulder, and it was quite sad. And these are younger people, and they were talking about climate change and when is it going to be taken seriously. And I'm like, oh my God, how long have we been screaming from the rooftops, and it's never going to be taken seriously? Because, I understand dissent, but the people of Kazakhstan are protesting because of high gas prices, because people can't live. But the thing is high gas prices. What's the alternative? They need to live, but they don't want to give up. They can't give it up because that's the life. That is what they have been forced into. That's their life. That's how they get along with petrol. Right? So, yes. Okay, Jeremy, it's not a joke. It is good to see you. But listen, what I'm going to do is today, while people join us, it's really about laughter. It's about good morning, Susan Fortier. Can we laugh while we are presenting such serious stuff? And I have done this before. I've talked about this before, and we've been criticized. Jennifer and I have been criticized for back and forth banter before. So what I thought was I have a comment that happened, and I'm going to show it to you, and we're going to talk about it. I see, hi, BB, but let's talk about it, because I can take some criticism. I think it's always healthy to learn from it, and I learned from it, and then I hope. Where's my other one? I hope to make myself better. There we go. There I am. So here we go. And I'm going to read the feedback. I'm going to read it all. And then we're going to talk about laughter in climate change discussions. So the comment was, this is so serious that perhaps some articulation and seriousness is in order. I just can't listen to silly banter in between scoops of profound doom. Bye. Now, I don't know this person. So I got a little snarky. Goran made a comment, is it okay if I listen to music now and then in between the scoops? And then I got a little snarky. I guess maybe I got a little defensive snarky. I said, they don't. We have addressed this before. We have also presented this information for many years, and we are personal friends. So what do you propose our affect should be? Should we spend the entire show with poker straight faces and cry? That could happen, but that's not going to happen. Not here. Thank you for watching. And if you don't like our presentation, there are hundreds and thousands of other YouTube channels. Perhaps you could go consume your doom with miserable people. Well, maybe I was a little bit harsh. Maybe that was a little, wrong, but I solicited your comments and I asked, how should we articulate the seriousness of the climate crisis? With one big scoop of doom? Should we ban silly banter? And I'm interested in the feedback. So basically, I'm going to go for it. I'm going for it. Let's see, I'm going to sort by the newest, because you can't sort by the oldest. So Magical Thinking Barbie weighed in, and she said, hey, and she does her own shows too, Magical Thinking Barbie. She says, I like your shows. The last one was very emotional for me. I've been grieving for a while now. Some days are good and some days are sad. It's just a process. And yes, babe, you're right. It's a process. It is a process. It's a difficult process. It's a difficult process. And Jonquil says, for those of us who've known about this for a while and who've gone through the steps of mourning and grief, gallows humor is very much in order. Don't change a thing unless you yourself want to. And we're not always gallows humor. Maybe I'm doomy and dark. Those my videos are doomy and dark. I guess I am somewhat gallows humor. I don't know. Is that a function of age? Is it I'll read it anyway. Is it a function of age? What is it? I know I have gallows humor. I've seen the worst of the world. I've seen the best of the world. But I have. Oh my God. So Mackenzie came in and said, we all cope in different ways and at different times. Some use humor of various flavors. Some are data hungry. Some use heavy amounts of hopium, and some look for divine intervention or hopes of an afterlife. Some of us keep on with patching some holes in the world as we can and strive to be kind. Now, I like that. Strive to be kind. That works. That works. Who's to say what is best? Thank you. We have a wonderful, wonderful group of people. It's a small, intimate little channel, but we have a wonderful group of people. Now, Audio Pervert said action. Action. Before I go on, I have to get down to, and then I'm going to go back up. Robert was funny. I read Robert's thing. Now, I think Robert was humorous, and I don't care if he said it's the meathead in Buffalo. Heinz, on the other hand, is brilliant. And my reply was, oh, thank you, Robert. Meatheads unite. Seriously, Jen is brilliant. Well, that was my critique. I'm a meathead. Okay. But I thought about that. And I thought, well, what does it mean to be a meathead? I did not research it. I really didn't research it. Bob, I think, must be of the age where meathead is a relevant word. I guess. But I didn't do anything with it. I should have done something funny for meathead, but I didn't. Okay, so we're gonna go on, and then it's hard enough to find a little joy and happiness in this world. If what you do brings you even the tiniest bit of either, then good on you for doing it. Whether or not it brings any joy or happiness to me or anyone else watching isn't your problem to take on. Those feelings are strictly on us to get sussed. Okay, well, it is in a way, though. It is, because you're here and we're providing, in a way, we're providing a service. We're doing a show. We're asking for help doing it. So yeah, we care about what you think. And Jennifer and I have talked about this many times. We have a symbiosis and we work, and it's great, I think. So Billy Joe just said, I think Jimmy woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I think Jimmy is a female, and I think Jimmy does, I was a little harsh. We'll see. Let's go down in the comments more. And Joe's ironing board, I think you've got to play it by ear. Events will take over. Personally speaking right now, I'm overwhelmed by everything the information that have been absorbed. I know this is real. That aside, and I never put it aside, what with the pandemic and deaths in the family and domestic turmoil and all the usual stuff such as hating the job, etc., I'll always be interested in understanding the situation and climate predicament. In general, I feel alone in understanding the seriousness of it. I'm scientifically literate. I come here for community, but the reality is there is little there of that for me, so I often don't stay long. My focus and my heart is on wanting a plan for the future and with wanting to make it humane, but I don't see this anywhere. How's about making a start? You're a bunch of women after all. Time to use your skills to help us. I'm a fella, but I'm a soft bugger, and I want to hear how we're going to look after each other and create supportive communities as we die off. Yeah, I know it's grim. I absolutely felt Joe. I loved your comment. If you guys could see it, I felt it. I loved it. You're right. And there are people tackling this very issue about community. In fact, we are. Well, I am. And I have, started in my own little way this little 100-mile, or what is it, 100-mile stretch of highway, which unfortunately takes petrol to get between my place and Karen and Basil's place and Sam Mitchell's place. And we hope that there'll be more that join us along the way. And there are. And I just saw Alistair was on here. Alistair came, and you saw the video I made. Alistair helped me with the fence last year. We're trying. But I get the idea, Joe, that you're in the UK. So it's really a global issue, and every culture in every country is going to be different in how they handle this. With the violence that's happening in Kazakhstan, I don't know if any of those people are thinking about climate change or give a shit or have access. There, what's happening there is because of the turmoil, and I believe it's an authoritarian split, that country, they've turned off the internet. Now you can't get videos. At least when I last looked, you couldn't get videos. And they turned off the internet. There was no reporting on television. So, that can happen anywhere. You can build community, but it depends on what your culture is and what country you're in. There's a lot of countries where you think Saudi Arabia is going to allow their people to build community when women still wear burqas. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of, and believe me, I love everybody. I'm just one of those people. All right, let's go on. Finished article. Shoot the messenger. Because of your intellectual honesty and moral courage, you are both committed to telling the truth. We are, but the truth is horrifying, so some people will lash out at you, even doomers. Personally, I am eternally grateful to you both, Sandy and Jennifer, for the education I have received from your endeavors, and however you want to do your shows is fine with me. Thanks. This was really actually reinforcing, even though I am a meathead. And I'm wearing the meathead proudly. Now I need a meathead shirt. I'm wearing it proudly. I don't eat meat anymore. I have weaned myself off. I do eat eggs, but I'm not an actual meat consumer, put it that way. Because I found out that all these other things are so much better. All right. Thank you. Finished article. I love that. Cindy, the great Cindy Seeley. Your shows are perfect just as they are. Laughing and crying. It's the same release, Joni Mitchell. If folks don't like what they see or hear, they should keep scrolling. I like the Joni quote. I told her. Zero Clutter Ultra, and thank you, Cindy. I don't know if you're here. Hi, Poppy, because it's the morning show. I haven't seen Kate doing too much. And Chicken Patty. Hi, Chicken Patty. Yeah. Loey. Hello, Loey. Hello. Lightning Rod. So Human had, Zero Clutter Ultra. If you lose the humor, you're going to end up like Michael C. Rupert. Now that was a comment that I could, for those of you who don't know who Michael C. Rupert was, you look him up, the original Doomer. But, he was like Doomer. I should get some chickens. Will you help me? Will you help me at least make a place? Anybody that wants to come help me this year, by the way, talking about building community. And Jeremy that I just put up on there, Jeremy's in our community. He's over there. He's in our community. And it's a good one. It really is. It's just that, you need gas to get back and forth. And I'm building my life. I've been building my life here. So let's see. Jack, I miss Michael. Great guy. And I've said, good point. I can't go down that road. And it would be very easy. Oh, my God. It would be very easy for any of us that know what we know, and to get maybe a little depressed and want to take a bad road. I don't. Hi, Jean from Costa Rica. Happy Wednesday at Sandy's Coffee Hour. Yes, it's the coffee clutch. I don't want to go that road. And I will always use humor. None of us, we are very well equipped, or we're getting equipped to understand our predicament. We sure are. Yeah, it's a great community, Jeremy says. Folks, come up while you still can. Where are you, Alistair? Did you stay or did you flake out? Yes, Michael Rupert was the cop that blew the whistle against the CIA funneling crack into mostly black communities in LA in the 80s. Absolutely. And that, I do know my history, but I don't always want to tell everybody they have to do their research. Sorry. There's the humor. Do your research. Do your research. Where are we hearing all that and all the stupid memes? Okay, let's go. Okay, Human had said, and I like what Human does. Human drops a lot of things. So that for in comments where he turns us on to different places. Humans like me. All day long, I will headphones, and I have a lot of chores here. Besides doing this show, which is very, sedentary. It's sedentary. I have 7 cats home to take care of, homestead. And maybe I need to get chickens, but I'm always listening to different things. I listen to, oh my gosh, political commentary. I listen to science. I listen to things all day long. Maybe I'm going to get, who knows what I'm going to get? Probably get cancer and die of fucking brain tumor, but from these things. But I have my work ones because, that's the way it is. And I listen to different people who are completely presenting things with no humor. And that's fine. That's what they're doing. They're presenting the facts. And then there's me, the meathead. So thank you, Human, for always giving us places to go. The Sacred Earth Activism channel. Okay. There's a declaration. And if I didn't cue it. Chief Phil Lane Jr., Unity and Diversity in Transformational Times. Maybe I'll get that link because maybe I should allow Human to put links in because I see Human in a lot of different chats. Dick Rempel, be yourself. Do what seems real in the moment. Do what seems real in the moment. Okay, I'm going to make myself smaller in the moment. But check in on yourself sometimes. Okay, are you doing nervous laughter or gallows humor? One is cool and one gives people a subconscious ick. Dick, I really liked it. Mine was good advice. Ick isn't cool, so ick proofing is important. I know that I'm probably icky too. Lots of people. This is social media. It's not lost on me. I'm an older white female. I mean, the days of looking hot and whatever are gone. And it's all in the mind and the brain and skills and all to keep ourselves going in the things we do. I'm a realist, but I would never call myself a climate realist because that's what the Heartland Institute does. Hey, Scott, he's late to the party. No, you're fine. You're perfect. So Dick came back with, by the way, your friends love you here and know where you're coming from. It's the newly arriving who might get uncomfortable. We are all laughing nervously. The ones who aren't conscious of it in themselves are the ones who will get triggered strongly by it. And maybe those are the people I have to work on reaching so that they don't get triggered. Because, I am goofy. I know it. My own kid thinks I'm an idiot sometimes. I mean, it's an interesting relationship. Mm-hmm. But, again, let's go on. This is not totally about me here. It's also about Jennifer. It's about the banter we do. Jennifer and I think we do it well, actually. And she is brilliant. My God. She is brilliant. Okay. Hello, Orkan Irgun. Please continue your way of presenting things. I dream of a village in the afterlife where both you and Jen are my neighbors there. We laugh and cry together in that peaceful village. But before reaching that place, you are already making my days shine with your smiles in this hard life under these sad circumstances while you present serious stuff. Please keep on doing what you're doing. Boy, now tell me if that doesn't counteract the meathead comment. Thank you. That was lovely. And I want to be in that place. I don't know about the afterlife. I don't know any of it. I don't know what happens. None of us really do, but that sounds pretty nice to me. And Jack, if you ban silly banter, I'm out of here. Just like the genie in Aladdin. Okay, all right. So if it's banned, Jack's out of here. Jeremiah, I like the banter. It seems more human. Doesn't make us sad when there's some humor and fun. What you're reporting is sad enough. No shit. No shit, Sherlock. And even the political stuff. I don't report on, let's say, what Nicole Sandler does. I'm a moderator on her show. She's getting very upset lately about the potential for political upheaval in our country and basically becoming a United States of, authoritarian rule, which maybe a lot of people would like. And they're talking about leaving the country, but, I'm not leaving the country. I'm staying right where I am. First of all, it costs a lot of money to leave the country, and that's very privileged to think you can. I mean, where would I go? I would love to see the glaciers, Argentina, but it's not realistic. We have to stay and fight for our country. For those of us that are like-minded people, as long as we're not rounded up, they're going to put me in climate disruption jail. God, I shouldn't laugh. See, there's serious nervous banter right there. Okay. Jeremiah. I just read that. Hi, Olivia. Okay, Olivia, I find myself constantly vacillating between nihilism and misanthropy and having compassion for our species. Yes, humor is the only elixir that soothes my psyche these days. That was beautiful. It was beautiful. Thank you, Olivia. Now, Matt blew me away. I absolutely love this comment. Matt, I love you too. There's no correct way to grieve. Laughter can be healing, but it also can be insulting, depending on your current perspective. We've been at this for so long that it can be truly exhausting just to remain serious and being honest without falling into complete cynicism. It's difficult. You do whatever feels right. It's your show. I would point people to Poetry of Predicament if they are in the mood for something more serious. And that's Dean Walker, who's been our guest. Absolutely. There's always Guy McPherson and Mere Reflection Project if they want solutions. But there's, little that can be done. We should just try to heal ourselves and our own hearts in whatever way works best for us as individuals. For many people, comedy is the perfect avenue to that. For others, it's a solid dose of hopium. So for me, it's getting into nature to do some photography or watching the birds and squirrels outside my window and laughing at their silly banter. Despite all the terrible things coming, mostly due to the recklessness of humanity, I try to experience gratitude and joy wherever I can because all the ugliness of this world could never overcome the sheer beauty I was lucky enough to witness. That was such a beautiful comment. And I felt it so much because I love being outside. I don't even mind the winter. I went for a walk yesterday around the property and it's just amazing the stuff you see on the ground, deer tracks and little critter tracks and scat, which is poop, and the different kinds of things. I love that. And the gardening season will come up. And the show will change because I can't do it all. I always say I can't be, I can't be 3 people, but it is outside, and he said it. Despite all the terrible things coming, mostly due to the recklessness of humanity, I try to experience gratitude and joy wherever I can because all the ugliness of the world could never overcome the sheer beauty I was lucky enough to witness. And I will tell you what, I am going to give that the best applause, even though I loved all the comments. This one, this one, this one hit my heart because, whoops, it's exactly how I feel, and I just lost the whole thing. Hang on. Where are you? Hey, I just lost. Okay. It came back. I don't know if you saw that I had lost it, but I did. With just the flick of a finger. My God, I've lost it before. Okay, Climate Marcher John also. Oh my gosh. I can understand not being in the mood for laughter. If someone is new to this hopeless predicament we're all in, it's going to seem dark. You know? Humor can be a release of pent-up fears and frustrations, though. I think Don't Look Up movie was cathartic and freeing for those of us who, what happened to that? Those of us who, sorry, I have something that got in the way, who realize what it was really about. For others, it's just another disaster movie, but funny and full of their favorite stars. And, oh, look at her hair, gossipy bits. Looking at the reviews, the latter seems to be the prevailing MSM choice. I mean, talk about clueless. I guess that seeing themselves as characters in that story is just too uncomfortable. And Billy Joe said very deep, but correct also. Yes, Climate Marcher, that has been, you know, the talk on Twitter, and there's been discussion about the movie, and it did use humor but there's people that it will never reach, and it reached us in the climate disruption community. Michael Mann thinks it's him. And then somebody else said it's Paul Beckwith. You know, I mean, there was that. There was that. All right. And there's the meathead. I'm the meathead. All right. Ercone, who I've met in this community over there in the Finger Lakes, I believe a huge part of the problem, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable today, is actually humanity's exquisite sense of humor. Laughter as a coping mechanism, or is it cultural? Now, I didn't do that kind of research for this, but I thought, you know, that is an interesting research if I was going to do one. And I am a social scientist. I mean, my educational background is social sciences. Okay, I went into human resources and I was a professional higher ed administrator, but social sciences played a lot in it because of people's, you know, doing the best thing for the people. Laura says, if I didn't laugh, I'd never stop mourning and crying. So please don't change a thing. You and Jennifer are my spoonful of sugar. Wow. And then Human had one more. Playing to the Gallery, which is the title, John Hay Channel. Okay. So, you know, Human's comments are amazing. So I thought we would change around a little bit. And I wanted to shrink my name. Okay. I wanted to show you guys a scientist who is a comedian. Okay. Now, whether you think it's funny or not, we're going here anyway. Okay. We're going to go here. Let's listen to this guy. It's an older clip, but now for something a little different.
And on the radio, the oil companies are giving out gas-saving advice that they know you're not going to use. Chevron has a commercial. Did you know if you drove 55 instead of 65 on the freeway, you could get an extra 30 to 60 miles to the tank? Which is true, because you would actually get pushed forward by the honking noise. And the occasional bullet coming from the traffic behind you. I'm going to give you guys a brief seminar here tonight. Nuclear fission, this is the energy source behind atomic weaponry and controlled nuclear power. To start the process, you need a fissile material such as uranium-235. Uranium is inherently unstable, has a certain probability of just breaking down and ejecting a neutron at its neighbor, which destabilizes the neighbor, causing it to eject multiple neutrons, and the process is propagated in a chain reaction. I've actually seen the same thing happen at a Raiders bar.
I'm playing the whole
Uranium atom,
thing.
the Raiders fan is inherently unstable. Has a certain probability of just breaking down and striking his neighbor. And that neighbor was unable to identify the source of the punch. And this process was repeated. This was just the female fans. So. But just like the nuclear chain reaction, the Raiders chain reaction can be controlled by introducing a doping element. I throw a couple of Dolphins fans in the mix. And even though the process starts the same, when the Dolphins fans are struck, instead of blindly propagating the fight, they go down like a couple of dandelions in front of a weed whacker. At which point, the rest of the Raiders fans start kicking the crap out of them. Starting off with a review of visual ambiguity. Certain pictures can actually have more than one valid interpretation. For example, the Necker's cube pictured here, some of you will see the face labeled A, B, C, D as being in the front of the cube, whereas others will see that as being in back. Some will see a white square above 4 black circles, whereas others will see 4 Pac-Men about to collide.
This is a little dated.
Some will see a kitchen sink or a place to wash your dishes, whereas my roommate sees a place to urinate. Some will see a glass of beer, whereas others will see a reason to live. Whereas my roommate sees a place to urinate. Dissolution. Dissolution of salt and water is the process of breaking down sodium chloride into the conjugate ions. Sodium and chlorine, very tightly bonded. It's an ionic bond, very difficult to break, but what happens is multiple water molecules acting in concert will actually replace that single strong bond with multiple weak bonds. Just like the sodium and chlorine molecule, an athlete and his wife are very strongly bonded when they're in the minor leagues. When the athlete signs that major league contract, he's thrown into a sea of bimbos and money. The bimbos will actually work in concert to separate the athlete from his wife. At that point, the wife becomes strongly attracted to the money. At which point she can attract a bimbo of her own. And everyone lives unhappily ever after. All right, folks, that's been it for me. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, so he was different. I found him, but in my journeys, I do have another one, but of his a little later version. But I did find something that I thought, okay, so we're talking about laughter. We're talking about what the fuck is so funny about well, any of this that I talk about, that Jennifer talks about, that Nicholas talks about, that Antonio talks about, that Jim talks about. So I looked and saw the research. Well, first, I'll show you the research first, but the conversation had an article, Leave them laughing instead of crying. Climate humor can break down barriers and find common ground. So this article talked about that, yeah, it's not inherently funny. Typically, messengers are serious scientists describing how rising greenhouse gas emissions are harming the planet on land and at sea, or assessing what role it played in the latest wildfire or hurricane. Society may have reached a saturation point for such somber, gloomy, and threatening science centered discussions. This possibility is what inspires my recent work with colleague Beth Osnes to get messages out about climate change through comedy and humor. So, see, they're talking about, doing a thing, doing a thing, making it communicating. This person studied practical climate communication for 20 years, wrote a book, Creative Climate. Now, wait, who is this? Come on, where's your name? Oh, here's the author. Right over here. I got to move myself. This is Maxwell Boykoff, Associate Professor of Environmental Studies and Director, Center for Science and Technology, Policy Research in Boulder. That's great. Okay, get the gong of the day. In Boulder, where Jennifer is, and Boulder, where the interview I was listening to on the show I was listening to before, the guy was explaining. His name was Matt. So why laugh about it? Science is critically important to understanding the enormity of the climate challenge and how it connects with other problems like, disasters, food security, local air quality, and migration. But stories that emanate from scientific ways of knowing have failed to significantly engage and activate larger audiences. Largely, glooming approaches and interpretations typically stifle audiences rather than inspiring them to take action. For example, novelist Jonathan Franzen recently published an essay in The New Yorker titled, "What If We Stop Pretending?" in which he asserted the goal of halting climate change has been clear for 30 years. And despite earnest efforts, we have made essentially no progress toward reaching it. Social science and humanities research have shown that this kind of framing effectively disempowers readers who could be activated and moved by a smarter approach. So comics, they took a different path when the IPCC released a report in 2018 warning that the world had only until 2030 to take steps that could limit warming to manageable levels. Trever Noah, host of Comedy Central, The Daily Show, observed, the crazy people you see in the streets shouting that the world is ending? Turns out they're actually climate scientists. Yeah, they are. They're the climate scientists. They are definitely out there screaming. On ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, Kimmel commented, "There's always a silver lining. One planet's calamity is another planet's opportunity." Yeah, that was a good one. He then cut to a going out of business advertisement for Planet Earth that read, "Everything must go. 50% off of all nocturnal animals, insects, reptiles, and amphibians. Price to sell before we live in hell. But you must act fast because planet Earth is over soon. And when it's gone, it's gone. It's gone." Let's see what this guy, I never saw this. I don't know. I hope I don't get a thing for this.
You have to
Can
join
you hear
the
it?
movement, see what's going on. Plug in, right? All the marches, the Women's March, the Climate March, the Science March. The scientists are marching. That's how bad it's gotten. They don't even like going outdoors. They have shit to research. They should be inside. They have to give up a Saturday because the president doesn't believe in climate science, thinks it's a hoax. You know the way those scientists are always trying to pull a fast one on us? Oh, you rapscallions. Fool me once, and then prove it over and over and over again, and have it reviewed by your peers until it's a fact.
Okay, so it's making it into comedy. Social sciences, And humanities scholars have been examining new and potentially more effective ways to communicate about climate change. Consistently, as I describe in my book, research shows that emotional, tactile, visceral, and experiential communication meets people where they are. These methods arouse action and engagement. Scholars have examined how shows like Saturday Night Live and Last Week Tonight, Jimmy Kimmel, Full Frontal, and The Daily Shows use jokes to increase understanding and engagement. In one example, former Vice President Al Gore appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert in 2017, took turns with Colbert serving up climate change pickup lines over saucy slow jam background music. Gore, I remember this too. Are you climate change? Wait, I need to let's put some music on for this one. I don't know if this will work. Let's see. Okay, Gore, are you climate change? Because when I look at you, the world disappears. And Colbert, I'm like 97% of scientists. I can't deny it. It's getting hot in here. Oh, God, I do remember this. Colbert, is that an iceberg the size of Delaware breaking off the Antarctic ice shelf? Or are you just happy to see me? And Gore, I hope you're not powered by fossil fuels because you've been running through my mind all day. So I guess that's the establishment comedians, I would say. Comedian, I'm not playing this because this one would definitely get me So comedian Sarah Silverman took time during her 2018 Hulu show, I Love You, America, to address the need for climate action. In her monologue, she focused on how climate change is driven by the interests of a very small group and absurdly rich and powerful people. She added, the disgusting irony of it all is that the billionaires who have created this global atrocity are going to be the ones to survive it. They're going to be fine while we all cook to death in a planet-sized hot car. Breaching barriers and finding common ground. So research shows that in time of depolarization, comedy can lower defenses. It temporarily suspends social rules and connects people with ideas and new ways of thinking and acting. It exploits cracks in arguments. It wiggles in, pokes and prods, and draws attention to the incongruous, hypocritical, false, and pretentious. It can make the complex dimensions of climate change seem more accessible, and its challenges seem more manageable. So many disciplines can inform comedy, including theater, performance, and media studies, with my colleagues Beth Osnes and Rebecca Safran and Fedra Pizzulo at the University of Colorado again. Yay. Colorado is very popular. That's an incredible school. They co-direct Inside the Greenhouse Initiative, which uses insights from creative fields to develop effective communication strategies. So for 4 years, we have directed Stand Up for Climate Change, a comedy project. We and our students, they write sketch comedy routines, and they perform them in front of live audiences on the Boulder campus. This is pre-pandemic, obviously, because they wouldn't be talking about it. So that is one article I found. And they wrap it up with a comic approach might seem to trivialize climate change, which has life and death implications for millions of people, especially the world's poorest and most vulnerable residents. But a greater risk would be for people to stop talking about the problem entirely and miss the chance to reimagine and actively engage in their collective futures. I definitely liked that one. And there was another one in it. It was I'm not going to read this whole one, but this was cute. I have it in the show notes. She was talking about in this I Welcome collection. I guess it's a newsletter, but she said, we often joke about the challenges we face, fighting our fears and sadness with humor. If having a laugh can help us cope when the worst happens, could comedy be a useful tool for getting serious about environmental collapse? Anxious and overwhelmed by bad news, Isabella Kaminsky finds relief in making fun. Making fun of the climate crisis. hey, we don't make fun of it. But if we have some silly, stupid banter, seriously.
Well, it's the Labor Day weekend. Last chance to lounge by that pool and wrap up your summer reading list. Pippa's standing by with the full forecast. Pippa, looks like that nice warm weather isn't quite ready to leave.
I don't know why you would imagine that it would. We've broken thousands of temperature records across the country and the planet this year. In fact, we're heading into the 329th consecutive month with a global temperature above the 20th century average.
Definitely time to light up that barbecue.
Yes, the barbecue.
Pippa, I think the folks at home are probably about ready for that 7-day forecast.
Okay, sure. Let's start up north, way up north. This week, satellites measured the smallest area of Arctic sea ice coverage in recorded history. That's 4 million square kilometers of ice missing since the 1980s. Where did it go? That's bigger than India. And it's happening so quickly, some researchers are now forecasting a summer with no ice in the Arctic Ocean within 10 years. So instead of a bright white sheet reflecting sunlight back into space, that means dark water sucking up even more heat, making it melt faster and faster. Most scientists prefer the friendlier term of feedback loop, but I'm more inclined to call it what it is, an inescapable death spiral.
I think there's a feedback loop in my earpiece, because I believe I just heard myself ask you for the weather report.
This is the weather report. This is what's happening. Scientists are telling us we can put 565 more gigatons of carbon into the atmosphere before global temperatures rise by 2 degrees, which is universally accepted as the threshold of total mayhem. Except if you add up the proven reserves of fossil fuels controlled by the world's energy companies, the oil and gas and coal we currently plan to burn, that amount is 5 times the safe limit. So if you think it's bad now, you just wait and see what hell we're going to unleash once we start drilling under the Arctic and digging up the tar sands so you can drive 3 blocks to get an ice cap. You think all of this extreme weather is a coincidence? You want the weather report? This is a reality report!
So all in all, a great Labor Day weekend and good times for the air conditioner industry.
Until the power goes out, you moron!
In other news, Chavril madness is sweeping the nation. Canada's royal couple of rock was spotted canoodling. Well, it's the Labor Day weekend.
I thought that was awesome. Yeah, I really did. That was a good one. Oh my God. That was humor used well and produced well, and it will be in the show notes. That's Pippa. She's great. So what I'm going to do is show you just some. Actually, we get a little serious for a second. I'm not going to read much more. What I'm going to do is just give you a look at some more research and a journal I found. And this journal is, the article was A Laughing Matter, Confronting Climate Change Through Humor, but I wanted to see who they were. So this is the Journal of Political Geography, and it's an interdisciplinary journal for all students of political studies with an interest in the geographical and spatial aspects of politics. And the editor-in-chief, he's in Florida. They are pretty much a UK, but they've got a lot of people on their editorial board. He's from Florida International University. And there's so it seems like a decent publication with some pretty decent folks in this field. And they are studying the laughter. And this was Maxwell Boykoff and Beth Osnes, the same people that were talking, that article, this one came from. All right. Very interesting stuff. So it was, here it was. Why fuse climate change and comedy? Anthropogenic climate change is one of the most prominent and existential challenges of the 21st century. Consequently, public discourses typically consider climate change as a threat, with doom, gloom, and psychological duress sprinkled throughout. Humor and comedy have been increasingly mobilized as culturally resonant vehicles for effective climate change communications as everyday forms of resistance and tools of social movements, while providing some levity along the way. Yet, critical assessments see comedy as a distraction from the serious nature of climate change problems, primarily through conceptions of biopower and through approaches to effect. This paper interrogates how comedy and humor potentially exert power to impact new ways of thinking and acting about anthropogenic climate change. More widely, this paper critically examines ways in which experiential, emotional, and aesthetic learning can inform scientific ways of knowledge. Okay, so basically this kind of research is well in my wheelhouse of my experience in my academic career. This. It's just, I like it. So I'm not going to read you everything, of course. I'm going to go back to me and see what you guys are doing. I just think it was very important to go over this particular topic for you. You know, laughing is very important. And if someone wants to think I'm a meathead, hey, I am. You know what, though? I'm going to give Bob, just for today, Bob, I love you, Bob Crane, but you're going to get the toilet flush. Calling me a meathead. Okay, Bob, there you go. He got the toilet flush of the day. So something had to, right? Something had to. So I guess this is the part of the show where I say, like and subscribe. I even change. Oh, I didn't change the color. It's red. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to do something here. Actually, I'm trying to live like all of us. We all have lives. We all are trying to make it. We all are trying to be productive. That's what I see. And I really appreciate you guys. I'm glad that you liked the topic. It seems like you liked the topic. So that's a good thing. And we'll look at some of your comments before I leave. And then I want to tell you who the guest is on Friday night. Actually, I'll tell you who the guest is right now on Friday night. Our guest is Professor Elliot Jacobson. And this is his newsletter. He's got this this is an article, but here's his newsletter, Watching the World Go By. And I think he's more of I guess a little bit of a newbie on the scene, but he's doing a lot of writing. And he has a PhD, but you know, he definitely opened his eyes. So he will be here. This will be in the show notes. He will be here with me on Friday night, probably 9:00, the late night, interview. And I think it's going to be really fascinating because his writing is really good. And even, Sam read one of his pieces on Collapse Chronicles. So you can join me on Friday night. And if you love what I do and you love what we do, and we're trying to help, we're trying to get back on with the guys for us, a good show on the state of the planet. Several ways to help me, so I can actually keep doing this. Because, in the summertime, I'm going to be trying to get a tiny house on my property. Amish build me something so that I can maybe have a Airbnb or a, hip camp, something where people could come. And I feel relatively safe here. And I think it would be really nice if people want to come and garden. I have an outhouse. I want but I have to work something out with my Amish neighbor to see what he can build me with windows. And people could stay. And it's not, it's nice. That's community. It's community. So there you go, guys. I really do appreciate you and your comments. Hey, I got 51 likes and 51 people watching. Hey, Boomer, you. All right. So, sweet. For the algorithm. Still time to push that like button. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. Who's on board? We have Vin Diesel. Who do we have with us? All right. Yeah, you will like him, Gene. Hopefully you can join us because it's the late Friday night. And yeah. Wait, let's see. In 1977, the scientists told me that the math is in, we're done with doctors at mathematics. Thank you. Oh, look, we got something going on down there. I'm not going to put it up. Okay, listen. Thank you. Even when the stream is over, you can always share to your social media like Twitter and Facebook. Thank you very much, Kate, for being our moderator today. It's too early for Kim, and I really appreciate you guys. I do. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to thank you, and see you on Friday. And I knew there was one more thing I wanted to mention, but I honestly can't remember what it was. I have a coffee tongue, by the way. I had a coffee video, but we're not going to watch it. It's called Mud Water Coffee. It's got all kinds of crap in it. Mushroom. I don't drink just regular coffee. All right, sweeties. I love you. I'll play my opening video first that I used. It was a short clip. And then see you Friday.